Hi folks. So often the thing that weighs the most in our pack weighs 1, 2, 3 kilos. Obviously depending on how hot it is and what the circumstances are. But yes, water, a vital thing that we need for every hike. But what about resupply? Yeah, what is it going to be like on that particular hike? It is the question I get asked the most. So I've given some thought to the 10 places I most often seek and hopefully find water. So I'll share those things with you today. So of course one of the obvious places you can get your water from is a stream, and I tend to use the Befree Cadine filter. It's a very simple device in terms of you're able to kind of collect the water from the stream in that fashion, put your filter in, and of course you can then empty it into whichever device you're collecting the water. And I use this Hydro Pack. It's a collapsible, so when it's not in use, it takes very much small amounts of space in my rucksack. And in fact, this takes virtually no size at all, just the diameter of the container itself. And I can get 750 ml in there, or 3/4 of a litre. So for me, that's a good combination. The thing as well is I don't use it just for through hiking. If I go on a day's hike, I will take these as well. Although you usually set off with sufficient water for a day's hike, you never know what's going to go wrong. That occasional navigational error that you might not admit to, this obviously comes in handy as a backup if you come across, quite often you will, a stream somewhere. So yeah, not only for through hiking, but for day hiking, I would definitely use these as well. So in the UK, we do have the right to get water from a public house or licensed premises. So that obviously does include pubs, restaurants, and occasionally some cafes that might sell alcoholic drinks. But the right is that you can ask for free tap water if you're a customer. So that means you do need to go into that pub, buy a pint, have a pie, and then you can ask for free tap water. And I often do. I often see that a pub or a cafe is a great place to resupply or get away with not actually cooking for the evening. And of course, getting the double thing of then getting a resupply of water for free, and of course quite often being able to use the toilets as well. So they're a great thing to think about, or place to think about. But yeah, you are entitled to free tap water at a licensed premises if you're a customer. Okay, what next? In the UK, we have a great institution for hiking, referred to as the YHA, or the Youth Hostels Association. And of course there's many around the world as well. I think in the UK there's definitely probably getting close to 100. And the great thing is, of course, they're located in areas where you're likely to go hiking. The other thing is, quite often they will have an outside water point, so you don't even need to enter the premises, and able to potentially help yourself to water. And of course it's not just YHAs. I think most hostels, if you approach them, would actually provide water. I mean, they generally understand what you're going through. So yeah, another place to think about. And if ever you're passing through a farmyard, look out for a outside tap. Or if you see a farmer yourself, just say to the farmer, is there any chance I can use, or have you got an outside tap that I can use? I've never been refused, so it's worth asking. Talking of farmers and farmyards, that reminds me of cattle troughs. So I don't know if you've ever looked at a cattle trough. Quite often you'll see that it's filled with water that is very suspect. I possibly wouldn't think of drinking that, and I can understand. However, on one side there will be the mechanics that refill that particular trough, and it's a very much is a mechanical thing, and it's similar to what might be in a toilet with the ball cock, and when you press it down fresh water will come out. And so yeah, I've been a little bit desperate. I've gone hunting around for cattle troughs, or again you can see cattle in the distance, and yeah, you can always check out, is there a cattle trough in the corner of the field somewhere? So I have used those on occasions as well. Another obvious one is campsites, and you can quite often see the campsite from quite some distance, because these days we have bright tents quite often. And yeah, the number of times I've either just gone and asked, or dare I say helped myself. Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's an obvious one and a very simple one, and you're assured of very clean water. So one to keep in mind. Yeah, when I'm planning my trip, I will not only think about the places I'm particularly aiming for, but also the villages that I'm going through. So I'll check if they've got a village shop, and I will literally just go in and buy some. I know we can get water for free, and sometimes even the shopkeeper said to me, oh, I'll fill up your flask or whatever if you want to. But I kind of go, well, for the cost of water, 1.5 litres you can get for £1 or £2. So that's what I often do. It's a simple solution. So in the UK, quite often we'll come across a village church, and I can think of a few trails where those churches do actually offer and say that water is freely available. They're almost advertising outside of the church. And I think that particularly I came across on Offers Dyke, there were 2 or 3 churches that noted you could actually get free water. And in fact, one of them said there was free water and coffee and tea and milk at the back if you needed it, which was obviously very generous of them. And the other thing is, some offer toilets, and yeah, I mean, in some instances I've been able to get rid of some of my rubbish there as well, which is always helpful, and better not left on the trail. So yeah, in the UK, if you come across a village church or a remote church, it is always worth going in, pay your respects, and possibly see if you can get water. And they always like a small contribution as well. Quite often they are saving for that roof repair. So I'm sure your contribution will be appreciated. If you're doing a particular trail, make sure you do your research. I can think of a couple of trails where I've certainly, in my videos, have said where you can find water. And I've certainly come across that on other YouTube videos as well. And I'm thinking of specific ones like the South Downs Way. They have various dedicated walking or hiking supply points, and they're often marked on the map as well. But you will come across individuals who just by the side of the trail have supplied water. And I think the best one I've ever come across is on the Devon coast to coast, and possibly it'd be related to the 2 moors as well. Yeah, so like I say, have a look at some different videos for that particular trail, and you'll probably see some dedicated water points as well. Then of course there is the chance encounter, and you have to take advantage of them when they appear. So I was going past a bit of an industrial estate, and I saw a lady walking out of one of the units, and so we asked her, could we have some water, which she kindly supplied. Little beknown to me was the fact it was a brewery. So yeah, even breweries will give you water. Obviously I might have preferred a beer, but hey, at that point I needed water. Another obvious place to get water is toilets. Clearly they are often marked on all maps, regardless of who's printed or where they're produced. Most maps will have toilets marked, and so for me they become part of the planning. Where are the toilets? How far along the trail are they going to be? and you, what, 99% of the time you're going to be able to get water. So yeah, make it part of your next planning for your water resupply. When it's particularly hot, I'll definitely have no fear of knocking on someone's door and asking for a resupply of water. Please, please, can you give me some more water? Never get refused. But it just, I don't know why it takes that initial kind of bravery almost to make that step. And when you've done it the first time, obviously, it becomes a lot easier to do the second and third time. And in fact, I met some people on the trail, and like nearly every place they passed through, they would always go and ask for water. I think it's particularly easy if you see somebody outside. So try that out at first. If you see someone outside their house, just say, is there any possibility you could fill this with water, please? And again, I'm sure you'll find, I've never been refused, so I'm sure you'll find that you'll get some water if you need it. Okay, so they're my thoughts on the subject. I'm hoping I've managed to think of all the different places that I've used in the recent and distant past. If you think I've missed something obvious or even less obvious, I'll be interested in your thoughts. I hope this video has been helpful to you. Maybe it's given you new ideas or help you to rekindle some old ideas that you need to put back into practice. It would be great if you could subscribe to the channel, share with like-minded people, and hopefully I'll see you on the trails one day. Bye folks.